Dr. Lisa Barden is a Southern California mom who appeared to have it all. That is, until she was arrested on 276 felony charges of identity theft, forgery, possession of controlled substances, and burglary.
She's an obstetrician and an admitted painkiller addict. Her most shocking crime, delivering babies and then stealing the identities of those new mothers to get prescriptions for Vicodin. As you're about to see, surveillance cameras were rolling as she illegally obtained prescription painkillers at pharmacies all across the Coachella Valley.
It's really hard to stop that when you're in that cycle. It's horrible. That's all you think about.
Life for Dr. Lisa Barden, an obstetrician and mother of 3, was spiraling out of control.
No, it just gave me a way to escape. I didn't have to deal with anything.
Dr. Barden's severe addiction to prescription painkillers ended here with an arrest outside this Palm Springs hospital where she's delivered hundreds of babies.
It definitely saved my life. It was going to take something drastic like that to happen. And thank God it wasn't because I hurt somebody. That I thought that maybe that way it would come to light or I would kill myself.
It's fraud. She's lied. She's cheated.
Riverside County Deputy DA Jeannie Roy is prosecuting the case and says Dr. Barden's admitted painkiller addiction is no get-out-of-jail-free card.
I don't excuse criminal behavior for that. And as I said, I don't think we'd be having the conversation if she didn't have the doctor attached to her name.
Dr. Lisa Barden is charged with 276 felonies, including identity theft, forgery, burglary, and possession of controlled substances. Court documents allege Barden stole the identities of 15 patients. She also allegedly stole prescription pads from 5 doctors she worked with and then forged their signatures to get the painkillers. Her drug of choice? Vicodin and its generic counterpart, hydrocodone.
A really, really vicious cycle, and it's very depressing.
Investigators trailed the Riverside County mom for 14 months. In that time, they say Dr. Barden used those stolen patient identities and prescriptions to fraudulently obtain Vicodin or hydrocodone at 43 different pharmacies on 131 separate occasions. In all, investigators say she illegally obtained 30,000 pills. Dr. Barden calls that 30,000 number an exaggeration, but does admit to downing more than a dozen tablets of Vicodin on a typical day.
Hey, give me a kiss.
Dr. Barden delivered Jennifer Herrera's son, Junior, 2.5 years ago.
I do think she was on drugs.
That is Dr. Barden moments after Junior's birth.
He had a 2.5-inch cut on the side of his right side of his head.
There were complications during the C-section. Junior suffered a superficial cut to his head during the delivery. When Jennifer found out about Dr. Barden's addiction, she began to wonder if her doctor was high during the delivery.
To have a doctor do that to me and other women, it makes me so mad.
Jennifer's son is fine now, and that allegation has never been investigated. Dr. Barden has been advised by her attorney to not discuss with us whether she was ever under the influence while practicing medicine.
You're supposed to trust your doctor with your life and your children's lives.
Jennifer is one of 3 Southern California moms who had their babies delivered by Dr. Barden, only to later learn she'd also stolen their identities to get Vicodin. Rochelle Ainsworth of La Quinta had her identity stolen after giving birth at Desert Regional Medical Center, where Dr. Barden delivered babies. Department of Justice documents say Rochelle's name was used on a prescription pad stolen by Dr. Barden from a doctor with whom she'd once performed an emergency C-section.
It's amazing that somebody, let alone a doctor, would do something like that. It's very sad.
Dr. Lisa Barden might still be at work if it hadn't been for one very alert employee at this Rite Aid in Desert Hot Springs.
It was Tina, my friend, that cracked this whole case.
Pharmacy technician Tina Gonzalez spotted a prescription for Vicodin dropped off by Dr. Barden under the name of Betty Enright. Unfortunately for Dr. Barden, Tina knows Betty and raised the red flag.
I maybe take an aspirin once in a blue moon.
Dr. Lisa Barden was arrested in January. Since then, she's gone through detox and says her newfound sobriety has changed everything about her life and being a mom.
This is where I'm going to get upset. Because before, I didn't know her. And now I do.
I hope she stays like this, and I hope she doesn't get sick or hurt anymore.
Prison time is a real possibility, but one Dr. Barden says she's ready to face.
To me, it's like a small price to pay. One, for not hurting somebody, and two, for getting them back.
Dr. Barden is now 8 months clean and sober. She blames part of her addiction on stress from a previous marriage she describes as abusive. Dr. Barden has agreed to plead guilty to the narcotics-related charges against her. She would like to practice medicine again someday, but says she would only take a job where she would not have to write prescriptions for narcotics.
An important step forward in the plan.